Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of our employees and staff.
Okay. So I actually get this a lot.
A lot of employees and staff are like, how do the laces work?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go over just the basics. So a little bit about Salomon as a brand. We are mostly known for our ski business. So we've been in the skis, boots, and bindings business for about 70 years now. We just celebrated our 70th anniversary last year. So it's a big achievement for us. We've been making trail running and hiking shoes for 20 years now. And in some territories, our trail running, hiking business is actually surpassing our alpine business. So we're a very recognized trail running brand. That's what we do best. We make products for people to explore in the mountains. So we're encouraging people to get in the outdoors and trail run, hike. And a lot of these can work for both trail running. Some of them can work for trail running and hiking, and some of them can work on the pavement. So I'll cover that a little bit. But that's just a little bit about the brand. We're owned by Amer Sports. So Amer Sports is a big umbrella. So we are sister companies with Arc'teryx, Mavic, Precor, Wilson, Louisville Slugger, Atomic, Armada, Sunto. Like there's a huge list. So it's a really big umbrella. We share that space with a lot of really great sister companies. We're based out of Annecy, France, so we're a French company, and we have a big research and development lab in Annecy, France, and that's where we work really closely and exclusively with our sponsored athletes. So I'll name some of those. I'll name drop a little bit, and then if you're not familiar with them, it'll just kind of give you an opportunity to look them up, because we have a lot of really awesome sponsored athletes, and a lot of these products are tested with those sponsored athletes before they even end up on the shelf. So it makes us a very unique, and we definitely do our homework and work with some of the really high-end athletes. So. But that's a little bit about the brand, the heritage. We do have a corporate office in Ogden, Utah, so we do have a local office as well. I live up in Heber, and I cover Utah and western Wyoming, and I've been with Salomon for about 8 years now. So yeah, that's just a little bit about Salomon, about me, and basic technology that you'll see across the board with all Salomon shoes. The Speed Lace is made out of synthetic Kevlar, so it's 4 times stronger than a traditional lace. So even though it looks really thin, you can just assure people that most of the time it doesn't break. If it does happen to break, we do make lace replacement kits that I can send to you guys. And there's a YouTube video that teaches you how to redo the lace. It's super easy. I've only had to do it once in the 8 years that I've worked for Salomon. So most of the time it doesn't break. A good way to keep it from not breaking is to tuck all of the extra slack once you cinch it up into the little pocket in the top.
Okay, that's something I didn't know about.
Yeah, and I feel like 30% of my job is just going around people and showing people that there's a little pocket for all of their extra slack.
Look at that.
You wouldn't believe how many people have owned Salomons for years and don't know that there's a pocket there. So it's not really noticeable unless you point it out to them. So really good to point it out. And there's no elasticity to the lace. So one thing that we're really known for is our fit. We have a really nice foothold. And this Speed Lace works with these fingers over the top of the foot, and you get a really nice strong foothold when you cinch it up. So it's going to really wrap the foot, and it's not going to loosen up over the course of your run or your hike.
Okay. Now I've heard it said that Salomons are more so designed for a narrower kind of foot. How would you approach a customer?
Yeah, no, great question. So that maybe used to be the case 10 years ago, but recently we definitely, especially with Ultra doing so well with the roomy toe box, and so many people, I think that's probably the most common question that I get is, does it have a roomy toe box? I like a wider toe box, so I wouldn't say that is the case anymore. There are shoes that are going to run narrower than others, so I'll cover that in kind of the differences between them, but definitely that's not the case across the board. So we don't have a narrow fit across the board, just some of the shoes run narrower than others. But great question. So that's the Speed Lace. Another technology that you'll see across the board is Contagrip. So Contagrip is the name of our rubber compound. We own Contagrip, so we have the ability to change up the lug geometry, the durometer of the rug, so the toughness of the rubber, and basically build our own recipe that's catered to the sport that you're using it for. So really cool, unique to us, and that's kind of how it differs from a Vibram outsole is that since we own it, we have the ability to change up kind of whatever we want. So this outsole package is going to be different than this outsole package, going to be different than this outsole package, and they basically are going to be built differently based upon the customer that they speak to.
Okay. So on the subject of outsoles, you're saying that there are various outsoles designed for different sports.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to
different type
jump
of
the gun
terrain
here.
and everything like that. Yeah. No,
Okay.
go ahead.
But I noticed we got some that are super, super aggressive looking, some that are not so much.
Yeah.
Could you let me know what the difference is
Totally.
in design?
So this is kind of a good segue into that.
Okay.
So the Speed Cross is a really iconic shoe for us. Mainly because it has a super aggressive lug pattern. So right away people notice it and it kind of jumps off the wall. It is made for technical terrain. So mud, scree, snow. It's made for really mountainous terrain.
Stuff Sean likes.
Yeah, definitely. So, Timp or Squaw Peak or any of those that you're going to climb to higher altitudes, and you're going to want something that's going to offer a little bit more grip for when it starts to get muddy, and there's a lot of scree. And also during this time of the year, it's perfect. It offers a lot of really good grip in the snow. So this is what I run in. Up in Heber where there's a lot of snow. It's going to offer a lot of really good grip. So, and you can see that the chevrons are multi-directional. So when you're ascending, you get grip when you're going up. And then when you're breaking down, you get grip when you're going down as well. So this shoe is really known for its grip package. It's also great for mud runners. So tough mudders or Spartan runners or anything like that. Perfect for that because it sheds the mud really well too. So it's not going to hold on to it. You're not going to get a big giant mud patty either. It sheds the mud really well. And then even on a wet slick rock surface or wet scree, the type of rubber is a lot stickier. So it's going to offer a little bit better traction on that type of surface as well. Not great for pavement. So you'll see a lot of people that will ask that. You'll see a lot of people that will wear it as their everyday shoe. But it's kind of like taking your mountain bike out on the pavement.
Right.
You're just going to burn through the tread just a little bit faster than you would if you were using a non-aggressive shoe.
I see.
So a lot of people will use it as their everyday shoe. They totally can. Just let them know that it's going to burn through the tread just a little bit faster than if they were specifically using it for true trail running.
Okay. Now I heard you use a couple of vocabulary terms that I'm not familiar with. You mentioned scree and chevrons.
So scree is like broken up rock.
Okay.
If you see it, there's actually quite a bit of it. Like if you were to do Pfeifferhorn or any of some of the really tall mountains.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I usually call it shale, but it's probably
it's
wrong
similar
thing.
to that.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of broken up rock, and it's pretty. You want something that's going to be aggressive. If you don't have something that's going to aggressive, you're going to slide down it. So
I would know.
Yeah, so you really want an aggressive outsole package to really bite and offer some really good grip, so you have confidence when you're going up and down that.
Okay.
So.
And then these are called chevrons here. Is that just the shape?
Yeah, they're
of the
just
tread?
the shape of the tread. So, great questions though.
Is that the only shoe in the Salomon lineup that's available in wide?
Yes, that you guys carry. There's
Okay.
another shoe called the XA Pro, but it's leaned more towards hiking. So,
Okay.
but yes, it is offered in wide. Great point there. This one does run a little bit narrower. It's known for that. So it has a race-like fit, kind of like your spikes would fit or cross-country flats. It's going to fit closer to the foot so that your foot's not moving around.
Right. Which is something I've experienced in ultras.
Yeah, so you want something that's going to be a little bit closer to the foot, a little bit snugger. This was originally designed with Killian Jornet, who's one of our high-end sponsored athletes, and he moves very quickly. He's very nimble. He runs a lot on his midfoot.
Okay.
But this was one of the very first shoes that he ran in. So it has a race-like inspired shoe because it's meant for high endurance, fast speeds, hence the name Speed
There you go.
Cross. So, but we do offer it in wide for those people that just need a little bit more accommodation in the toe box area. So we do offer it in 2E, and you guys can special order that.
Okay.
So just a little bit wider toe box as well.
Okay. With regards to its use in snow and mud, does it have some sort of water resistant component to it?
So, not these ones in particular. Most of the time I just wear a wool sock and it's fine.
Okay.
Most of the trails are packed out. But if you do plan to kind of run in some powder or anything like that, we do make it in waterproof. So we do make it in Gore-Tex. It comes for $160 versus $130 price point. So you guys can also special order it in Gore-Tex. We do make a lot of other versions that come with carbide tips, so they can bite into ice and whatnot. Or we do make one that has like a zip-up gaiter and kind of looks like a Nordic running shoe, so you can run in powder. So very very popular shoe for us. We have it in a lot of different colors. We offer it in wide. We offer it in Gore-Tex. So yeah, you guys can special order all of those. You might get this. I doubt that you get a lot of this, but there might be some people that will ask if they can use it for softball.
Softball.
We've seen that quite a bit within the past few years. We don't market it as a softball shoe, but a lot of people will use it for softball.
So I can kind of see it.
It's a little bit more comfortable than a cleat, and so if they want to use it for that, they can. But mostly trail running, hiking, mud running. Sometimes you guys probably won't see it. We do see a lot of hunters use it as well.
Oh, okay.
I was just at the Western Hunting Expo this last week, and we sold a heap of those.
It's a big adventure race shoe.
Yeah.
My brother uses it for golf.
Yeah, right. So lots of multi-purpose. So, but been around for over 10 years now, and it's a very recognized shoe for us. So that's the Speed Cross, and then the other one that has done well but is still fairly new is the Sense Ride. And you mentioned that it has a less aggressive outsole, so this is for the base of the mountain. So I like to think of it as like this is for the base of the mountain, Bonneville shoreline, or some buffed out trails, not as aggressive trails. And then as you're climbing the mountain, then you'll go towards the Speed Cross. So this is for packed dirt, gravel. I have used it in some pretty technical terrain, but I would say for longer distances, maybe you want something that's going to be a little bit more aggressive. So totally based on preference. It does have a rock plate, so a very thin plastic piece that's going to offer a little bit more protection. A lot of trail running shoes will have a rock plate. Most of the time, the rock plates, that one does not.
They don't. Okay.
So too aggressive for it to have a rock plate. If we were to throw a rock plate in that, it'd be pretty stiff, and you wouldn't have a lot of flexibility. And you want trail running shoes to kind of be able to bend with all of the rocks and roots and kind of move with you rather than against you. So you don't see a lot of like built-in support. You don't see a lot of rigidity in trail running shoes. Most of the time they're flexible but still offer some protection. So the rock plate lives in the midfoot, right where you need it the most. And it's really thin, but it's flexible, so it's not going to add additional weight to the shoe. You'll see a lot of people that will say, well, is it heavy if it has a rock plate? Is it stiff if it has a rock plate? So a lot of brands will build a rock plate that's a little bit more flexible and a lot thinner, so you can just get enough protection, but it's not going to inhibit you at all. So it has a rock plate. And then it also has something called Vibe technology. And what Vibe technology is, I should have brought my little tool, but I'll just see if
You
you
got a
can see
special
it.
tool for the insole or something?
Yeah, I have a component ring that shows the different layers of the shoe that I can bring in next time.
A big gold core sample or
So
something.
you can kind of show the customer, but you can see in there's a little window right there.
Okay.
And that's showing the material. So it looks a little bit like Boost. It looks a little bit like Adidas Boost, if you've ever seen.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that.
So, if you've ever seen Adidas Boost, it's a really soft material, but the reason it's called Vibe is it's addressing the vibrations our muscles make upon impact. So I like to think of it as like you have a big giant pond. If you drop a rock in it, there's a ripple effect, right? And so if you do that enough times, you're going to get lots of ripples. And it's the same thing every single time we step where our muscles are taking in all of those vibrations.
Okay.
So if you run for enough periods of time, if you run for a longer period of time, you're really taking a lot of that impact, you're taking a lot of those vibrations. So you need something to dampen those vibrations and reduce that impact so that you are encouraged to run for longer periods of time. It's comfortable. So a lot of shoe companies have come out with some sort of dampening material that will offer a little bit of to reduce those.
Okay.
So to reduce the impact. So this right here is a polypropylene material, and it's really soft, and it's encapsulated into EVA, so it's encapsulated into the foam. And the reason we have to do that is because it's really soft. If we showed it on the side, like if you ever see an Adidas Boost shoe, it's showed on the side. And the material that we use is really soft. So it's not very abrasion resistant.
Yeah.
So we have to encapsulate it into EVA. And then you get the best of both worlds. So you get rebound and you get cushioning. Most of the time when you focus on one, you sacrifice another. So by encapsulating it into the foam, then you get the Vibe technology and you're getting rebound and cushioning.
Okay.
So this is going to be a more cushioned shoe than the Speed Cross. So
there's the advantage. That's why someone wouldn't just buy the Speed Cross and wear it everywhere.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Yeah. So, and I would say that this is going to be like in shoes that you can bring out with one another if you want to give your customer a few options. I used to work at a specialty run store, and usually I used the rule of 3. So I would bring out 3 options for the customer, those that were similar but different. And so this would be really similar to that Brooks Cascadia over there that you guys can bring out with that one. And it'll be a little bit more cushioned, but in terms of price point, in terms of who it speaks to, in terms of heel to toe drop, it's very similar.
Okay.
So I didn't really cover the heel to toe drop, but you probably get questions about heel to toe drop.
Yeah, often.
I'm not going to get into it because it's a very big, long discussion.
All right.
But what I will say is that this is an 8 mil drop from heel to toe, which is pretty traditional. That's what a lot of Saucony is doing. That's what that Brooks Cascadia is at. It's pretty traditional on what most people are looking for from a training shoe. So if they're going to go out and just use a training shoe and they're going to do regular distances, like if they're going to do 30 miles a week or sometimes 50 miles a week, that's going to be this is the shoe that they would use.
Okay.
So the Speed Cross is a 10 mil drop, so it's a little bit higher in the heel stack. So that's why I said it could be used for longer distances, so marathon distance or distances where you're going to be going up against tough terrain. You're going to be out for longer hours.
Okay. So what's the relationship between that drop and your ability to run for various periods of time? Like is the idea that a thicker
I'm sure that like when people come in and ask for ultras there that you kind of have to educate them if they have never used ultras before, that there's a transition period there. So you would kind of encourage people not to go out and run 5 miles if they're not used to a 0 drop shoe because they're going to be working different muscles.
I see.
So when you run in a lower drop shoe, you're working more of your calf muscles, you're stretching out your Achilles a little bit more. So it takes a while to kind of adapt to that.
Okay.
And so that's why I said this is a pretty traditional shoe. It's what we're used to. And they can go out for longer periods of time. Sometimes people will buy a lower drop shoe for speed work. So if they are going to do a speed workout or if they're going to do shorter distances, they can use a lower heel to toe drop shoe and they'd be just fine. And a lot of people will do that. It's actually a way that you guys can increase your sales.
Yeah.
So most of the time when I worked in specialty run, I would say, well, this is going to be your training shoe, and if you're going to do some speed work or if you're going to do a race day or anything like that, you're going to want something that's lighter, faster, lower drop, because you'll be working at faster speeds. So then you can get them to buy 2 shoes rather than 1. So it's a good sales tactic.
And
But
that difference in the drop, that would require them to work some different muscles in their legs.
yeah.
Okay, I'm not entirely...
Yeah, that's why I said it's a big
there is a lot to
discussion.
go
I
into,
would
yeah.
say, what I would say, like, I kind of run into this a lot, but don't oversell your customer. Just let them ask them questions, let them tell you what you want. But this will be like probably way more information than you need. But it's good for you to have it. But don't break up the heel to toe conversation unless they do, because it's just gonna confuse them. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'd just like to be able to meet them wherever they're at. I get
Yeah.
some people in here who are like super technical.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, just pick what you will, because I have no idea what you're
Right.
saying right now.
Yeah, usually that customer that comes in asking about the heel to toe drop, they've already done a ton of research first before they've come in. So it's not something that I would be like too concerned about, but it's good for you to be aware of
Yeah.
it. So that's a little bit about Sense Ride.
What's to do with the Ultra? This guy here.
The new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, ultra, hence the name, is geared more towards ultra distances. So anything that's over a 26.2, anything that's over a marathon distance is considered an ultra.
Okay.
So if someone says they're an ultra runner, it means that they've done races that are over 26.2. So maybe they're doing a 50K, maybe they're doing a 50 miler, maybe they're doing a 100 miler. So ultra is geared more towards that customer that's looking to go longer distances, so bigger distances. So the big difference between this one and the Sense Ride is that it's going to have a little bit more protection for durability, because they're going to be on their feet for longer periods of time, right? So it has something called Energy Save, which is a polyurethane material. It just means that it's tougher than EVA. It's tougher than foam. Because foam breaks down a little bit faster, right? So with Energy Save, it's just a little bit tougher. It's going to offer a little bit more durability. And in this case, it's acting as the rock plate as well. So with foam, you have to put a rock plate in to offer a little bit more protection. But if we're using polyurethane, if you're using this Energy Save material, it's a little bit more durable. So it's going to offer some protection. And then it's also going to last quite a bit longer as well. So also 8 mil drop from heel to toe, so pretty aligned with the Sense Ride there, just a little bit more durable. And then it also has these little Sensi Fit. We call them disassociated Sensi Fit. It basically just means that these are separated from the other upper materials. And the reason for that is as ultra runners increase their distance, their feet are swelling. They're getting bigger, right? So they need to account for that. And this allows their feet to swell more, but still offer good foothold. So they're not going to be sliding around as they get to their 50 miler, their 70 miler, and they're still going to have really good foothold over the top of the foot. And then at aid stations, if they want to offer a little bit more forgiveness, they want to just give their foot some time to breathe, they can kind of open up the area a little bit more too. So it's a really neat fit feature. It looks really cool, and it serves a really great purpose as well. So
this can be easily adjusted while you're wearing the shoe, without messing with the lace system there, or do you have to release it a little bit?
Yeah, when you're wearing it, you can just kind of open it up a little bit. But it also gives you the ability to customize the lace too, which you don't really get with the other speed lace. So when you cinch it up with the other speed lace, it's kind of just pulling on the whole entire foot. And with this one, you can kind of adjust it and allow your foot to open up a little bit up here. You can let your heel release a little bit more back here, or you can tighten it up to lock your heel. It really gives you the ability to customize the fit just a little bit more as well. So it's a nice fit feature. It's a nice foothold over the top of the foot. And then you can see that this pocket loads a little bit differently than the other one. It's just something that we do with some of the higher price point. So this is 150 versus 120 versus 130. So those that live in a higher price point will have that top loading lace.
Very nice.
Is this a new shoe for Salomon?
Yeah, so this came out in fall. It came out in August of last year. And we actually got some really good reviews. So it was on the front page of Runner's World. It got Editor's Choice in Runner's World. So I did bring some little shoe inserts that I can put in there as well. So you guys can call that out to the customers. And then also, at the end of the day, after you've talked all of this technical jargon with your customer, right, and they're looking at you like deer in headlights, I like to tell stories just to give them something to relate a little bit more to.
Okay.
So with both of these shoes here, we have some really good stories, the Sense Ride and the Ultra Pro. So we have a sponsored athlete. Her name's Courtney DeWalter.
You getting all this, Sean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to memorize this later.
Courtney DeWalter, she just won Ultra Runner of the Year for 2018 and in Trail Runner magazine, and she's one of our sponsored athletes. And her distance of choice is 200 miles, so that's what she's good at. And she's known for winning these 200-mile races, beating the men, and she's just a tough chick. So one of the races that she did was a 240-mile race in Moab 2 years ago, and she did it in one pair of the Sense rides. So that says a lot about its cushioning. It says a lot about its durability. It also says a lot about the price point too. Most of our sponsored athletes like to run in that really high-end stuff because it's the most technical, or sometimes they'll have a specially made shoe for them. So she's running in stuff that's on the shelf that other customers are running in that's a more affordable price point. So it says a lot about its cushioning, its durability, its overall technology. So she won that race. She beat the guy behind her by 10 hours, which is a huge gap, right? She did it in 57 hours, 20 minutes of sleep. It was really nutty. And so that's one story. And then the following year, she ran the Tahoe 200. She was second place, and she did it in one pair of the Ultra Pros. So... also says a lot about the durability, a lot about the protection. She was only behind the guy in front of her by 30 minutes, which is a really small gap in a 200-mile race. So it's a very big achievement. So kind of keep your eye on her because she's really cool to talk about and kind of gives you an opportunity to relate a little bit more to the customer rather than just throwing all this technical jargon to them.
No, that sounds good. The more I can relate on a personal level, I mean, the better.
Yeah.
I've only ever run in ultras, so they're the easiest for me to sell.
Yeah.
But I'd love to be able to do the same with Salomon.
Yeah. So that's a little bit about the Ultra Pro. And then the last shoe that you guys have is the Sense Pro. And the Sense Pro, this is geared more towards that customer that's looking for a lower drop shoe. So if they like an Ultra, or if they like something where they can feel the ground a little bit more, this is a really good option for them. This is a 4 mil drop from heel to toe, so it's not much of a difference from the 0 drop, just a little bit more protection underneath the foot. So lower to the ground, lighter weight, and then it also has a lot of the same features that are in some of the other Salomons. So it has a Profil foam plate that's a rock plate, so it's going to offer some really good protection in the midfoot region, and still really thin, still really flexible, not going to add additional weight, not going to be super stiff. And then you can see that it has a more aggressive outsole package than the Sense Ride. So great for, again, mud, scree, snow, the really technical stuff. Not great for pavement. And then it does have a little bit narrower fit. We don't offer it in wide yet, but it is going to be more of like a race-like fit. But generally this customer, if they're doing shorter distances, or if they like something that's a little bit more minimal, they like speed. So they want something that's going to be a little bit closer to the foot, more than something that's going to fit like a race-like shoe.
Okay.
So. And then it also has another cool fit feature. This is called EndoFit. So it's a built-in sock liner.
Yeah.
So a lot of those minimal customers like to have something, if they didn't want to wear socks, they didn't have to.
I've seen it done.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
I know. So I've actually tested it out, not on purpose, but I was running Guardsman's and I did not dress warm enough. And so... I didn't have any gloves, so I took my socks off and used them for gloves. And it was one of those, And so I have tested it personally, and it's really close to the foot, so there's not a lot of friction there.
Okay.
So definitely you're not getting any blisters. But it's also just a really nice fit feature, so your foot's not moving around in the shoe.
Sounds like it'd be a great Xterra shoe.
Yes. Totally can be used for that.
I don't know what Xterra is.
Tongue
It's like off-road triathlon.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
And I work in a triathlon shop. Gosh, this is your responsibility,
it's where
actually.
they-
I blame
Yeah.
you.
You're a tech specialist, so you don't need to know
Trail
as well.
run,
Bike tech, I'll
mountain
have you.
bike, and
That's fine.
swim.
Yes.
Next
Actually, that
time.
sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that
At
was
the next
great.
Dura.
All right.